Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, the topic of our today's discussion is contents, principles, and stages of health education. First of all, we will discuss the contents of health education. Now, the contents of health education may be divided into the following many divisions for the sake of simplicity. We will discuss each of these divisions in detail. The very first one is human biology. Understanding health demands an understanding of human biology. Human biology includes studying the structure and functions of the body, how to keep it physically fit, the need for exercise, rest, and sleep, the effects of alcohol, smoking, and drugs on human body, etc. Reproductive human biology is another area of interest. Every family has the right to know about child spacing, breastfeeding, safe motherhood, immunization, weaning, and child growth, and respiratory infections as recommended by UNICEF. The best place to teach human biology is the school, where health information can be made part of the study curriculum, which in turn provide learning to millions of students. The second content of health education which we are going to discuss is nutrition. Aim of nutrition education is to guide people to choose balanced diet, remove prejudices, and promote good dietary habits. Nutritional problems such as misconceptions about proper weaning, traditional food allocation patterns within the families, they can be best solved by nutrition education. Nutrition education is a major intervention for the prevention of malnutrition, promotion of health, and improving the quality of life. Now we will discuss the hygiene. Hygiene got two aspects, that is personal hygiene and environmental hygiene. Personal hygiene. Aim of personal hygiene is to promote standards of personal cleanliness within the setting of the condition where people live. Personal hygiene includes lots of different habits and measures. That is, it includes bathing, clothing, coughing, sneezing, etc. Training in personal hygiene should begin at very early age and it must be carried out through school. Environmental hygiene. Environmental hygiene got further two aspects, that is domestic hygiene and community hygiene. Domestic hygiene comprises that of the home and also of the light, ventilation, disposal of waste, etc. While the environmental hygiene, it includes but not limited to basic sanitary services consisting of water supply, disposal of human excreta, vector control, food sanitation. An environmental sanitation program should include health education. Providing health facilities alone is not sufficient. Family health. Family health largely depends on the family's social and physical environment and its lifestyle and behavior. One of the main tasks of health education is to promote family self-reliance, especially regarding the family's responsibilities in childbearing, child rearing, self-care, and in influencing their children to adopt a healthy lifestyle. Then we will discuss the disease prevention and control. A person from the same disease may suffer again and again, even on taking medicines until and unless provided relevant health education. Developed countries manage to control many diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, cholera, etc. primarily through health education. Mental health. Prevalence of mental diseases they are on the rise as there is change in society from an agricultural to an industrial economy and as life changes from the intimacy of a village community to the isolation found in big cities. The aim of education in mental health is to help people to keep mentally healthy and to prevent the mental breakdown. Now there are certain situations when the mental health is of great importance, that is mother health after childbirth, child health at entry into school for the first time, and decisions about future careers, etc. This is the time when focus on maintaining a good mental health must be dealt. Prevention of accidents. Accidents occur in home, road, and at the place of work. Engineering department and the police department should enforce rules of road safety. At workplace and in home, safe environment and cleanliness must be provided. Carelessness is the predominant factor in many accidents and can be tackled through proper health education. Nowadays, in case of road accidents, the use of mobile phones during driving is one of the major factors. Now we will discuss the use of health services. Unfortunately, public attitude towards health services is still apprehensive. Many don't know what services are available in the community and what signs to look for which necessitate a visit to a doctor. People must be informed what health services are available in the community and how they can be utilized. Dear students, now we will discuss the principles of health education one by one. Health education brings together the art and science of medicine and the principles and practice of general education. There are certain principles of learning which are used in health education. These principles include credibility, the degree to which the message is perceived as trustworthy by the receiver is basically the credibility. People must have confidence and trust in the communicator who is delivering that particular health message. Message must be consistent and compatible with scientific knowledge and also with the local culture and social values and goals. Now we will discuss the interest. Health educators must find out the felt needs of the people. Remember, is not interested in health slogans like take care of your health or be healthy. Felt needs basically are the needs the people feel about themselves. If a health program is based on felt needs, then the people will gladly participate in that particular health program. In many cases, health educators have to bring out a recognition of the needs before they proceed to tackle them. Another principle of health education is participation. Participation basically leads to active learning. Health education should aim at encouraging people to work actively with health workers in identifying their own health problems and in developing solutions. Alma Ata Declaration states that people have a right and duty to participate individually and collectively in planning and implementation of their healthcare. If community participation is not an integral part of a healthcare program, then that particular health program is unlikely to succeed. Now we will discuss the motivation. Awakening the desire to learn is called motivation. Motives can be primary and secondary. Primary motives, they are basically the inborn desires which drive the people to initiate an action. These include hunger, sex, survival, while the secondary motives include love, praise, recognition, reward, etc. The example is when a lady is told to reduce weight as she might develop cardiovascular disease. This advice may have a little effect on her, but if she is told that if she loses her weight, she might look more beautiful and charming, then she might accept this particular health advice. This is basically motivation. Dear students, another principle of health education is comprehension. Level of understanding and literacy of people to whom the health education message is directed must be known. Health education must always be done in the language people understand and within the mental capacity of the particular audience. Reinforcement. Repetition of message at regular intervals is necessary. People are more likely to learn if the message is repeated in different ways and at regular time periods. Learning by doing. Remember, learning is an active process. A Chinese proverb describes the learning process in an excellent way. This proverb is if I hear, I forget. If I see, I remember. And if I do, I know. Another principle of health education is known to unknown. Health education is a stepwise process that is from the simple to the more complicated one, from easy to more difficult, and from known to unknown. It is a long process of resistance and obstacles, and quick results of health education are not expected. Setting an example. A health educator should set a good example in the things the teaching is being done. For example, if a health educator is delivering a message and asking people to stop smoking, then he should be a non-smoker because if he is a smoker, then people will not take his health message seriously. Good human relations. Good human relations make sharing of information, ideas, and feelings easy between people. Feedback. Feedback is of paramount importance as it guides the communicator to change the elements of the system, that is, message or channel, in the light of feedback from the audience. Next is leaders. Leaders, they are basically the agents of change. Community should be assessed through local leaders. These local leaders can be political leaders, teachers, village headman, imam, etc. Dear students, now we will discuss the attributes of a leader. The attributes of a good leader are it understands the needs and demands of a community, it takes initiative, a good leader gives proper guidance and is selfless and honest person. A good leader is impartial and sincere. He is easily accessible to the people and is able to control and compromise the various factors which are present in the community. A good leader possesses the requisite skills and knowledge of eliciting cooperation and achieving coordination of various organizations. Dear students, in this lecture, we have discussed the contents of health education and principles of health education. Now we will discuss the stages of health education. The stages of health education, They are six in number. These are stage of sensitization, stage of publicity, stage of education, stage of attitude change, number 5 stage of motivation and action, and the last stage is stage of community transformation. Now in the next few slides we will discuss each of these stage in detail. The very first stage of health education is stage of sensitization. In stage of sensitization, people are sensitized regarding an emergent health issue with messages like AIDS causes death. Pakistan has the highest prevalence of polio in this region, and it can make a person handicapped. Both the positive and the negative messages they should be used during the stage of sensitization. It is believed that negative messages can bring immediate notice, and it is better for illiterate people also. If the people are sensitized, they become more receptive to health education message. Stage of publicity. In this stage, media and all the possible means of advertising they are used for providing the information to the people. The idea of this stage is that people discuss among themselves and they become more knowledgeable about a particular health issue. Stage of education. This is the stage of real education for the disinterested and the illiterate people. Health education in Pakistan is done through leaders, through local community leaders like Imam, school masters, etc. The local leader should be educated first, then they, in their own words, can educate other people. In this stage, campaigns may be going on TV or newspapers or other medias. Stage of attitude change. Attitudes of people changes towards their own good health. People who have achieved the healthy changes and are happy with themselves, they now start motivating other people. Now comes the stage of motivation and action. Adequate knowledge is provided to the people and they have developed a positive attitude towards the healthy changes. It is believed that once the motivation is incited, the action in the right direction takes place, and that further motivates the individuals and the families to continue such behavior. Dear students, the last stage of health education is stage of community transformation, also known as social change. After all the stages, the whole community is transformed into a healthy community. For example, previously it was considered normal and no one objected on smokers in parties or public places. Now people avoid smoking in front of other family members, especially minors. Eating and selling chewing gum is prohibited in Singapore. Punishment is there for the sellers and no shopkeeper could afford it. All this is because of the health education. This concludes our today's lecture. Thank you very much.